GBP Pros, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone that's catching us on the Facebook Live, those that are on with us on the Zoom Live, those are catching us on the replay, on the YouTube channel, and the podcast. So guys, share some love. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you like us on there. So again, I wanted to remind those that this is the first time catching us, GBP Pros. I have two goals. We have two goals that we want to accomplish with the program is to help you grow your business is our first one. And number two is help those agencies get better results for their clients, right? So with that being said, what we do is we invite our friends on here. I consider Eean our friend from Agency Assassin, and we'll do like over the shoulder. We'll talk about, what's getting results, what's happening to accomplish those particular goals. It's no secret, guys. You all know Eean from Agency Assassin. That's still working. We have a different spin on today on as far as CTR, what Google's looking at, and what is working today. So as far as the knowledge panel, so I'm super grateful. Carlos, appreciate you. Those that are on the live that are on here, I appreciate you guys. So with that said, Eean, for those that have been living under a rock, or maybe it's the first time they're catching the show, can you kind of give us like where you came from, where you're at today, and what you got going on? A little introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me, Alfredo. I really appreciate it. Yeah, actually, in a lot of ways, I got my start on this show because early on, doing the show with William actually brought a lot of eyes to my product, our product, Agency Assassin. So, yeah, I'm co-founder of Agency Assassin. We've been doing this since 2019. What we do is we do CTR, click-through rate and engagement manipulation, and we do it as a SaaS product. People don't have to buy or configure any proxies. All that's managed ourselves. Basically, the platform is designed to make the process as easy as possible. And I'll actually go into like some of the ins and outs of how to make sure your campaigns are successful. But today, I'm actually going to explain a little bit, just because I feel like this is an interesting topic for people. But this is about knowledge graph, how Google uses machine learning in order to determine, first, they did it on the ranking of websites, but now it plays a very big role on Google Maps, especially since the August update last year. Knowledge graph is playing a much bigger role in ranking on Google Maps, and I'll show some examples. Yeah, and what I want is just to help people understand a little bit into Google's mind, and so to help them understand like what the goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and also some of what works.
So for those like business owners, Eean, what is a knowledge graph? Where do you find that? How, can you expand on the knowledge graph with the update a little bit?
Yeah. So I mean, knowledge graph is a machine learning model, and Google's been using it since they started gathering information into it with their RankBrain release, which their first release was 2015, and that's when they started to scrape websites to learn from them using machine learning. And what a knowledge graph is it's a combination of different data points and how they all link together. So it's like a giant spider web that takes every type of subject and idea and it links them together. And what it's used for is it's used as a way to discover by Google what is related to like the terms of a search through this knowledge graph. And so it's how Google understands content and the internet and the world.
Awesome. Yeah, let's dive in. Did you want to share anything? Let's dive in. How, as a business owner, as an agency that's helping businesses, how can they leverage the knowledge graph? How can they pop the knowledge graph? We have our buddy Marlino, right? Always talking about the knowledge graph, your brand, your product, and your
Yeah.
locations. How the knowledge graph gets affected by that. You guys have heard me say when it comes to keywords, right? It's LSIs, entities, variations of that.
Yeah.
How that all plays to the knowledge graph, and pay attention to as far as what Eean is saying, guys, and it's how Google's looking at us and gathering information on us. So if you want to dive in there, it would be great.
Yeah. So I mean, the first thing that's affecting everybody right now is how Google uses knowledge graph for knowledge-based trust. In other words, how information links together and how that creates trust for a business. And that knowledge-based trust is a huge ranking factor. It's the EEAT stuff. It's what everybody's been talking about for a while. But I've actually got some experiments and I've got some data that shows exactly how those have worked in the last few years. So I'm going to share, I've got a presentation that has some slides, and then I've also got, I'm going to show some examples of campaigns in our software that are looking at those factors. So let me go ahead and get my presentation up first.
And guys, if you have those that are on Facebook, as Eean is popping that up, if you have any questions, just pop it in the comments here live, pop it in the chat on the Zoom, and we'll get to them. We do see them and we'll get to all of them, I promise you. And those that are catching the replay on YouTube, feel free to put notes or comments, or if you're on the podcast, feel free, I'll put up here in a minute how to get a hold of Eean. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, and I was also gonna make an offer to everybody for a limited time on special pricing for the software if they want to give it a shot as well.
Nice.
Great. All right. So we're gonna get to this in a little bit. Why is it that sometimes it works this well and sometimes that it doesn't? Because not every campaign gets these kinds of results, but we're gonna go into that. So I'm gonna jump in. So I was talking about 2015, Google started gathering data. The first time Google used knowledge graph for any ranking in a huge way. And what you think of in terms of machine learning is it's really expensive to run these servers. So Google's use of machine learning has to do with how they can cut costs. So actually the first update, I should even have another slide in here talking about the Medic update. So 2018 was the Medic update, which came before this update. And with that update, what Google is using knowledge graph for is they were gathering information on websites, and then they were looking at how all the information related to one another. How does a doctor entity, relate to a school that he went to, related to a subject that he studied, relate to a service that this doctor's office is offering. And what Google is trying to do is by linking those things together, the better linked together those types of entities were, it created trust. And what that trust was based on is just the knowledge on the site. So Google couldn't validate everything, but what they could say is we see trustworthy sites that, trustworthy doctors want to say where they went to school, and it's on their website. And so Google went out and looked at all these things and used machine learning to find these reputable doctors and compare it to unreputable doctors. And they were able to see, hey, if the pages contain this type of information, this is reputable, and if they don't, it's not reputable, and they would lose trust. And so the first release in 2018 was just like medical services and financial services. Now roll forward to 2020, and this is the first time that Google tried to use that matrix of knowledge to determine what websites they should rank. And so now how they did that is looking at how the content on a website interlinked to other content on that website. So what they were looking at was how well is a subject covered by a website, and how well is that subject covered as in all the different dimensions of its information. And so what you find is you actually find these sites are actually sites that did very heavy content strategy, like very, very large page sites, like Celebrity Net Worth, for instance, lots and lots of pages. Credit Karma, it has some case studies out there on it, because they did just a massive content strategy where they wrote about absolutely everything about credit cards and credit, and they did just huge numbers of blogs. And these sites with large numbers of specific content that was interlinking to other content did extremely well. Now, at the same time, this is probably Google's motivation. So what didn't do well? Very high authority sites with huge numbers of links. These are some of the highest authority sites in the world. And these sites took a just complete bath. They did very, very badly. CDC.gov did very, very, very badly. So, I mean, if you can imagine that somebody looking for, disease information was finding different sites than CDC.gov after this update, which isn't good. This is actually an update that was rolled back in great part. And the reason being is that you actually found that authority, and I would suggest a reason why. Why is Google was targeting link building as manipulation, and they're trying to devalue links. How did they do that? They went to content. They looked at the pages. They looked at how much of that content linked together. And what the problem was is that mass page sites, like sites with very, very low quality spun content, were outranking local businesses. So after this 2020 update, you got a huge uproar because, like high quality, like roofing companies were losing to very low quality spam content sites with mass page generation. And so this update ended up being rolled back, but that's, this is their first attempt to use that machine learning to do something. And I think that they wanted to try to hit link manipulation because it was a way that people manipulated search results all the time. And so they were trying to devalue links, increase the value of on-site content as they understood a knowledge graph. And it didn't work that well. The results were pretty bad. So if you roll forward to 2021, the winners and losers here are a little bit more interesting. Now, I had a theory, and after seeing the way that it affected, I had about 50 websites I was working on at the time, and I looked at those 50 websites, and I developed a theory pretty quickly and started an experiment. But this is the actual data after the 2021 update. So what you see here is sites with very, very high quality contextual links and authority did really, really, really well. So what I believe happened is what Google started to do is, if a link comes into a page, in the past, people would link build to, a Denver roofing page. They'd build a huge number of links to that page on a website and rank that page. And that was a really easy way to manipulate that one page for that one result. And so what Google wanted to do instead of that is use knowledge-based trust to diffuse that authority. And how did they do that? Instead of giving all the authority to the page that the link came in on, they looked at all the pages that page linked out to, and they looked at how closely it was related topically to those other pages, and used a combination of that authority plus that topical similarity to give authority to the other pages internally linked. So you get an external link, it would come in and offer authority, but that page wouldn't get it. All the pages it linked to, and then derivatively, those ones linked to a lesser degree, receive that authority. And so you saw a lot of strategies with like just building links to a specific page not work anymore. But what you did see is you saw other strategies like this is when everybody instantly snapped on to pillar pages and doing authority stacking with internal linking and doing link wheels or silos. It became super powerful. This is when silos became super, super powerful. And so now if you look at these winners and losers, what you find are these sites that are actually doing like lots of contextual linking. So Dun & Bradstreet, they link to similar businesses in the same industry. Dictionary.com links to similar words, related words. Goodreads links to similar books. Urban Dictionary links to similar terms. New York Post links to similar articles. And so you see these guys that are both getting authority and have internal linking that's going to other similar pages, meaning that authority actually gets passed through. All of these are doing really, really, really well. Now, what's happening over here is these sites are very, very high authority, but probably not structured, especially at the time, with really, really good internal linking to translate that authority. We can make a guess that AP News had not done a really great job of linking just to articles related to the article you're at. They were probably linking to other articles happening at the same time. And as far as Google was concerned, topically, those weren't the same. So AP News missed out on this update. And then like City probably just didn't have a lot of very built out content. And so they missed out on a big way because they probably didn't really work a topic out and have lots of internal links going to other pages. And so if you had content that was very, very high authority, but had that authority stacked on a single page, you're a loser. If that authority was connecting to other related pages, you're a winner. And so what I think is happening here is Google's saying, hey, we know about Dun & Bradstreet. What we can know about this as a company, we can know the most of what we can know. The most reliable thing we can know is what's on their website. We know the company's called Dun & Bradstreet. We know they're dnb.com. And so we're going to take what's on this website and we're going to let that tell us what this company knows about in Knowledge Graph. And we're going to let it impact that in a big way, because how we understand that business and how we understand that website are going to be very, very, very closely related, meaning what you put on your website has a powerful impact on Knowledge Graph. And not only that, but how authoritative those pages are. And after helpful content updates, how much traffic those pages get. There's some other metrics that they started to lean into later. But at this point in time, just like link authority and topical authority to a page and how much it's relating to, they're going to take that and they're going to take that authority, and that's going to impact Google's Knowledge Graph learning model. And it's a machine learning model. So once the information is in the model, it's actually very hard to take it out. So what you see is Google trying to structure a way where they're learning from these websites and where links, external links, are potentially impacting what Google learns about your site. And so I had an experiment to do. That experiment that I did, this is on a website for SEO in Denver. And what I did is we built 100 pages of content. And
Hey,
these
Ian, real quick, if I can interrupt, if you can back up a little bit.
Yep.
Guys, I hope you're picking up what Ian is putting down. If you look at here, we talk about this all the time. The best practices, right? The best practice, best in world class. If you look, winners, interlinking, right? That's into each other, the pages. And then the losers had a high authority but poor structure of their data, right? So the interlinking, the schema, the image, as far as SEO image, the H1s, whatnot, it's all the best practices of what is driving the winners and defining the winners from the losers. So I hope you guys picked up. We say it all the time, the best practice, the foundational stuff, going diving. So I just wanted to highlight that real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ian, but just wanted to, I hope you picked that up there, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and some of the stuff really works, but we'll show how it did not work. Well, it did work phenomenally, and then how it did not work phenomenally as well. So what I did is we built 100 pages of content, okay? Then we did 2 like high quality kind of like guest post quality pages to each one of those 100 articles. And all these piped up to 3 primary pages. So we would do subtopics. So if we were doing like Denver local SEO, we would do how to pick a local SEO agency. And behind that would be how to evaluate, your optimization of your Google business page for local SEO. And we would link all those up to our pillar pages. And so we did 2 guest posts, and then we did about 100,000 web 2s on every single one of those guest posts. So we did 200 guest posts. We did 20 million web 2.0 links to those guest posts. And what we saw is we shot directly up from almost no traffic to almost 700 monthly traffic and took almost every high competition SEO term overnight. So my thesis that this affects knowledge graph is, I think that's what I'm showing here. I think what happened is Google moved over to their machine learning model. They moved over in terms of how do they determine authority, and they made it, instead of making it just a matter of page rank, it's a combination of page rank and internal linking as a combination. And what they're doing is they're learning from that what is important information, and that affects the knowledge graph. Now you see this, it goes straight up in a line, and then down here, it drops like a rock. And that is September 12th, 2022. That is the first helpful content update. I lost almost all my traffic on this site overnight. So what does that say about helpful content update? Well, what I think that says about helpful content update is the specific use of helpful content update is to protect knowledge graph, to keep you from using internal link strategies and spam pages to impact Google's knowledge graph, because it's become such a big ranking factor. And so what you see at the end of this is you see a huge drop off, but in the beginning you see a huge spike. Well, what does this have to do with Google Maps? Well, right after we rank, and I lost my original report on this, so I can't use my mouse to go over the dates. But when that first ranked was in the middle of February, and essentially what you see is up through it took until almost April for this to rank for Denver SEO agency, and then it was ranking in the top 3 most of the time. So what you saw is we impacted knowledge graph. We got the SEO, we got the web results, and then it was about 2.5 months later that maps really impacted, where all of a sudden we saw huge spikes in our rankings across the board on Google Maps. And so I've thought for a long time. So starting in the December 2020 update, Google started putting snippets from your website onto your Google Maps, and at that point, I'm pretty sure knowledge graph became a signal on Google Maps. But after the 2021 update, it became a much larger signal, and it's actually increased since then. But so what you see is you see knowledge graph first ranking here on the web, then getting to the Google Maps location. And now this actually worked across tons and tons and tons of terms, lots and lots of terms, all sorts of stuff for SEO agencies, stuff like that. Very, very, very effective across a large area. Those are the rankings results. So yeah, so you know, we obviously we had a big rush, helpful content update. We lost our rankings, and this project is actually one that I hadn't worked on very much after that. However, actually this is a better one. However, we were still ranking this on Google Maps just because I've been running the campaign for years, and you know, this is still running. Now, last year for the August update, this is right when the August update hit. So this is showing July 24th. So the August update was implemented over the course of July. They tested it, and then it was online for everybody on August 1st. And what you see is I go from, you know, a range in the top 5, mostly in the top 3, to pinned at number 1. And now we have not changed anything with traffic. And honestly, most businesses with CTR only did not do better. But this one, which hacked knowledge graph, gets pinned at number 1 for the search term after that update. So this is why I think that the August update last year, Google turned down the signal to a degree for CTR, or at least they changed it so that CTR is limited by how well trusted a business is. So we might be affecting trust here, or it might just be a straight up ranking factor. But one way or another, knowledge graph is profoundly impacting the performance on Google Maps. And so now I'm going to show you some examples. So I'm just going to jump over here. These are test accounts. These are campaigns. These are not customers. They're just people that I helped out because, you know what? If I can rank someone, then that's good information for me. So here's a campaign that I've been running, and I want to just outline what I was talking about with like knowledge graph. Now, knowledge graph is on site, of course. You have your website content and have interlinks, but you also have offsite. And I haven't evaluated the on-site. I've only evaluated the offsite. So knowledge graph also applies to your citations, to your offsite things, to press releases, stuff like that. Anything that is contextualizing a business for Google does affect knowledge graph. It is affecting how Google understands a business. Now, this business has 2 citations, one up here, one for the Better Business here. They have 4 reviews in the year since I've been running this test. They've never gotten a new review. They have no website. So this is basically the worst case scenario, untrusted business. And that's what I want to show, because with a business with absolutely no trust, even though I'm able to get progress ranking for this painting term, you can see like it's over a number of months. Now, we started this campaign September of last year, and I actually hit a period where I got number 1 after running this campaign for 9 months. So I ran this for 9 months. I got a number 1 result, CTR only, no SEO. But you can see this process of these huge spikes up and down. And what these spikes up and down are, these are A/B tests. This is Google saying, I don't know if I trust this. And what I'm saying is the trust, what Google trusts in large part has to do with the signals they're seeing from knowledge graph, but also reviews, also how well built out the Google listing is, lots of other factors that Google's looking at, and you know, as a composite image, all these different signals, and they're saying, okay, you know, yeah, we think that this business could be doing extremely well and getting lots of traffic, and we're going to believe that. Or like in this case, with a business with absolutely nothing, they keep looking at the data over the course of the month, and these actually are approximately 1 month periods where you see these waves go. That's because they actually look at your traffic over an entire month as one of the measures. So if you send too much traffic between the first month and the second month, you can start to see rankings go down because Google will start to not trust the traffic. And so if you start seeing these dips, sometimes they happen on a monthly basis. This is because Google's looking at your monthly accumulated traffic as one figure. They also look at your daily traffic. If that spikes too much, they look at lots of different things. But one of the things that you see here is it increasing over time. And one of the reasons is that if you think about it from Google's standpoint, it's a lot easier to trust 6-month-old traffic than it is today's traffic. So the reason that this campaign is working better and better and better over time is, over time, this is still affecting that listing's metrics, and it still is getting traffic, and it still looks like it's getting more traffic. And as it ranks higher, it's still getting more organic traffic. And so as time goes on, the listing actually accumulates a little bit of trust on its own from CTR. But is that enough for an effective campaign? I honestly don't think so. I don't think that doing a very high competition, urban, dense, CTR only campaign with no other SEO is really gonna hit it. Getting a lot of reviews though does make a really big difference. Reviews do help a lot. And I actually think that Google probably knows a relationship between the number of reviews you got and the amount of traffic that you got. Okay, so let's look at the next business. And this is another example. So we're gonna go ahead and look at this one. Again, this is not a client of mine. I had a friend that ate at this restaurant, and he was literally just said, they're a little slow. Do you think you can help them out? And so I gave it a shot. And now this one's also just me running CTR. But all right, let's look at the business. 285 5-star reviews. Now, if we go down this list, they're on Facebook, they're on Grubhub, TripAdvisor, Westward. This is like a really high quality guest post. You know, they've got an article in a local newspaper that's really good. They've got Facebook videos, they've got TikToks, they've got all sorts of stuff. So this company has a phenomenal footprint. Now, contrasting this with the last campaign, you know, if we look at where they started, we go to all time. We got map pack results on this one. Started on October 24th. We sprinkled in some map pack results, but we hit like a little bit better around 2 months out. All right. But you also see that like the growth is much more linear. It's much less chaotic. It's being trusted a lot more. You're not seeing those big swings where there's A/B tests where suddenly the rankings go high, then they go low. It's much more steady and constant. Why? Because Google has a reason to trust this business. They have hundreds of reasons to trust this business, between reviews, between everything else. This business looks very legitimate. And so the stability of it is better as well. What you see is this composite of all these different factors combines, and you see really good results. And so this one, very consistently, this is ranking really well for multiple terms. This actually is a Nepalese restaurant. Nepalese restaurant had too little search volume, so it wouldn't have gotten them much business. So I ranked them for Indian food, which I'm proud of. I'll be honest, I'm proud of. Yeah. Okay. So this is an example of like the different dimensions on trust. All right. So going back into the presentation here. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's that's kind of, actually, I'll be honest, that's about the presentation for now. Unless Alfredo, do you have any questions about that?
No, so I just wanted to point out again, guys, it's not a silver bullet. It's not a kind of like a fix all, right? If you kind of notice, like with Eean is taking a step back into the knowledge graph. You know, what do you need for the knowledge graph? He mentioned citations. He mentioned the website. He mentioned the GBP, getting all the stuff filled out to give to Google. We don't want Google to guess who we are, what product we offer, or our location. So when that CTR kicks in off time, one thing that I love, Eean, he's showing stuff from like last month, this month, right? He's showing like recent stuff. And this is something he worked for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, the whole year. He showed that linear, like kind of linear growth. And that's what you really want and really want to focus on with your business. If you for your clients, right? You want to be patient and steady, but obviously doing the best practices to get these results to affect that knowledge panel of where Google is gathering information from you. If you notice, Eean, when he put in the brand name, what's the one thing he named off? Grubhub, Facebook, the social medias, all the different things. Guys, those are like little information you're letting Google know like who we are, where we're at, what service we offer, right? Your brand, your product, and your location, and everything that we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Google is looking for reasons to trust you and reasons not to trust you. And both of them are very important. And so, I mean, so what's funny about CTR is it's both. CTR is a reason to trust a business and it's a reason not to trust a business. So what our job is when we're doing CTR is to basically build our campaigns in a way that appear as trustworthy as possible. We actually, we're working right now, we're really close to an update where we have the entire United States graphed in 100-foot by 100-foot chunks. And we've used machine learning to determine what the population, estimated population is in all of those chunks. So that if you're 100 feet away, you might be in a park. But if you're in the middle of a park and you send a click to Google, they know the location of every single person that searches on Google Maps. How many people do you think search from the middle of a park, in the middle of a forest, the middle of a lake? You know, I mean, they know for sure how likely every single event is to happen. That's true. So, you know, we're actually going to be improving our information so that 100% of our searches will only happen where we know people are. And I think that that's going to be a really, really big one. If I can show a little bit about like some best practices, and honestly, this will work with any platform. I mean, like, you know, this is just good food for thought for anybody. Oh, I'll get to that later. So for anybody running campaigns. So if you're running CTR, where you get your data from should be your Google Business Profile dashboard. Why? Because Google knows if it's a new keyword. So if you start running a click-through rate campaign using anybody's software, and the keywords you use have never been searched for before, even if they make sense to you, and I guarantee you, if you pick 10 keywords that make sense to you, and you look in the GPP dashboard, 2 to 3 of them will not be in there. Nobody else is searching that term. And it's funny because you'd expect them to, but users behave how users behave. But if you go into the Google Business Profile dashboard on a listing that's at least doing ranking okay. Now, this doesn't work on businesses with no rankings. So unfortunately, you can't use that advantage, but you can still use, you know, smart keywords, and you can do other methods in order to build up to the trust of that listing. And I'll explain a little bit about that. So you get the keywords from the Google Business Profile dashboard because you know other people are searching that term. We are not going to stand out. Then when it comes to your money keywords, again, get them through the GPP dashboard. Why? We don't want to stand out. We want to be fitting in with the crowd, you know? So if we're going to find these keywords, we want to find them from the GPP dashboard, not from Search Console, because if you look at, like, if you pick any one of your businesses, open up the Google Business Profile dashboard, then open up Search Console, your keywords are completely different because Google Business Profile dashboard only shows people searching in that area. Google Search Console shows people searching anywhere in the world. That Google Business Profile does not show up anywhere in the world. It only shows up in one area, and the behavior of people in that area is different from the people in the whole world. So you're going to find big differences in the keywords, and Google knows the difference. Next, if you're, Google, my phone answered me. So then the next thing is, you know, you want to send traffic to high volume keywords, even if you're not trying to rank them. The example I always give is if you're trying to rank dentist NYC, your client's paying you $1,500 a month, $3,000 a month. Let's hope that everybody's getting $3,000 a month, $3,000 a month, get dentist NYC up to #1. And right now, cosmetic dentistry NYC already ranks #1. They hire you, you say, oh, cosmetic dentist. And they're like, no, we don't want to work on that. We don't care. Still send traffic to that keyword. If it's their highest volume keyword, send traffic to it. Why? It looks natural. If their business is growing, it looks natural to do that. That's the same reason we send branded traffic. If somebody's willing to find your business at the 9th position for dentist, they're going to search for that dentist by name as well. Because the only reason they go to #9 is they already know the name of that business. The only reason they go to position 20 is they already know the name of that business. So if they're going to position 20 here, they should be searching this as well. So branded is still very vital, very, very important. And it is a huge limiting factor that I see on people's campaigns all the time. So we're going to send to the high volume keywords. We're going to send to the brand or the target keywords that we get from the GPB. And then we're going to build our campaign slowly. I tell people 5 to 10 daily searches on maps. Why? Because Google needs, Google doesn't have enough data at very low search amounts to really know what's going on, good or bad. And so I don't typically see at like small numbers of searches, like 5-ish searches per day. I don't usually see major intervention where Google does their bot detection stuff, which we actually prevent. We fix all their bot detection. We detect it. We avoid it. And that is working very well for us right now. So 5 to 10 daily search is a very safe start. This is a very conservative way to start building a campaign. All right. Then 0 to 2 map pack through google.com. So these are google.com searches that'll navigate through the map pack. These ones go straight to Google Maps. So Google Maps 5 to 10, google.com map pack 0 to 2, then some driving directions every day. And then once you start your campaign, you know, check on your campaign like every 2 weeks, and increase your traffic slowly. Don't slam it. Don't go straight to 40 or 50 visits a day. I'll be honest, that can actually work. And if you're doing an experiment, you know, you could try doing larger traffic with like different keyword strategies. And I know people who do high traffic strategies. This strategy is to get consistent results at low risk. Go slow, increase, you know, 3 to 5 searches every 2 weeks. Yeah, actually, yeah, 2 to 5 was my updated. All right, then the last thing is you want your search grid to be, it should make sense. It should, so, you know, on this one, this is, you know, a couple miles, like 3 miles from the restaurant. It's, first of all, somebody's not going to drive 10 miles to go to an Indian restaurant in general. Very, very rarely will somebody do that. Maybe sometimes, but in general, people are going to go to a restaurant that's nearby, which is going to affect your organic click-through rate. So showing up farther away, a lot of the true organic users aren't going to click, which is going to be a negative CTR for you. So really, there's an area of impact on your Google Maps location based upon the type of business, about how far away people want that business to be. And trying to rank outside of that isn't going to get you very good results. But then the next thing is, if you're trying to rank where you're position 40 or 50, if you're trying to rank a 25-mile grid for chiropractor, there are 10,000 chiropractors in that area. You're not going to rank that far away. You're not going to rank 25 miles away, and it's going to be impossible. And also, all those searches at very, very low positions are a warning sign to Google. Nobody gets clicks at position 40 or 50. People give up. And so if you're getting 10 clicks a day at position 40 or 50, that is not going to rank that business. It's just not going to work. So that's the last tip is your search grid. Generally, your search grid should cover an area where almost all the terms are at least, I mean, like 15 or better is ideal. 20 or better is absolutely necessary. But if it's ranking better, it's going to get more traffic. We actually rate limit the amount of clicks that that a keyword will get if the rank goes lower and lower. Starting at an average of 7, we start to rate limit it, and then once you're down into the 20s, 30s, 40s, we rate limit it dramatically, because otherwise it can be really negative for the listing. You don't want to send that much of that traffic. So that's all handled automatically in the software. So yeah, so I'm going to go into some results that we've got. Now, I just want to explain something. So this is, so we've opened a white label. Oh, no, never mind. This is experiments with a friend of mine. And we've done a number of different things on this listing. So I'll just explain what we did. So on this listing, we updated the schema. So we did very high quality schema with like a lot of geodata and stuff like that. As well as, you know, nodes about, as well as some other information in the schema. So schema is working really, really well right now to improve trust, which improves click-through rate. In addition to that, Google Stacks Google Stacks could be, honestly, it's a little tedious, but they work really well for giving context, for doing like a large amount of context and linking in. So you could do links into your citations on your Google Stack. You could do links into press releases. You could do links to the Google Maps location itself, to a map embed, and all of those work to very different degrees. So Google Stacks, as well as we did tiered link building with SEO Neo, and then we did CTR. And you know, that's this campaign. It's also this campaign, a cosmetic dentist. These are so this is for the term chiropractor, you know, and this is a very population dense area. This is for cosmetic dentist, again, in a city, high population density. And then this is for an HVAC contractor. This is a more rural area. So this is lower competition than the other two. But the name of the game, the reason it's working this well is we're doing CTR, but we're also sending really powerful brand signals. We're sending really powerful signals to Knowledge Graph. And so it's that combination that's working out so well for us.
Hey, Eean, real quick, what if like, you know, what you were showing us, the customer comes to the client. What if the plumbers that go out, the HVAC, people that go out to the client versus the client come to them? Does the same thing apply? Is it different? What's your thought on that?
It's really just at that point, it's more about, I mean, there is like, for sure, if you're a plumber and somebody searches for a plumber near me and you're 20 miles away, they're, I mean, so this is what they, I think that for a lot of home services, the way that people think about it is they want to be able to reach out and choke you, So like if you don't do good, they want to know where you are. And so I think that there is like a psychological range for people that does apply. I think it's significantly less than if they're going to drive, but it's going to be larger than it is for a chiropractor or a restaurant or a massage therapist. I mean, and then but probably the biggest limiting factor is going to be competition. So if you're in a city and you have 50 roofers within 3 miles, right? That are at varying degrees of how good their SEO is. If you focus on hitting that entire area, or let's say in 5 miles, that whole 5 mile area with 50 roofers, it's going to take you significantly longer to rank that than if you focus on a mile and a half, 2 miles. And the thing is, at a mile and a half or 2 miles in a big city, you're getting leads. So it's not how long it takes to rank a big map, it's how long it takes to get leads. And so the bigger the map you do, the longer it's going to take to get leads. And the only thing that keeps them writing checks are leads. So, I mean, there's a strong argument for focusing early and then pushing wide over time.
Yeah,
Because
100%. I agree with that. And even if it's the opposite, like Carlos was asking, I think it still works just because of what Eean said, right? You still want to pop up so they can get the phone call and get that opportunity to get the call, the sale, helping out the client 100% on there. And guys, we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go along, but like the trade area of the geo maps, right? And that goes off of like driving distance. That's where your real customer is. So like when Eean's saying, like, what's the point of 100 miles, 20, 25, 30 miles out? Like, depending on the competition, there's probably like what, 20 chiropractors, 20 plumbers, right? 20 lawyers. Like, shoot, I want one that I can get a hold of. I want one that can come right now. I want one that will actually pick up the phone. I want one that I get along. There's some good customer service too, right? And that's, the true, like, get stuck on getting the call, and like agency assassin with the knowledge panel popping where it matters.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so one thing that's interesting is you might be doing a campaign, and if you know the traffic in the area and you try to do the campaign on the other side of the traffic, the thing is so even if you're doing click-through rate, you're improving engagement. Once it pops up in rankings, if someone is on the other side of 30 minutes of traffic, they're not going to travel over there. So you're going to get negative CTR in that area. So if you're trying to grow an area with CTR, you still want the organic CTR. So, I mean, with our software, you can draw a map. What you want to do is draw it around where people can get there quickly. If it's like a massage therapist or something that somebody is going to visit over and over and over again, like a restaurant or something like that. Like the reality is that person that's choosing to click or not, that's going to get you your organic click-through rate. It's all about how long they have to drive for. And they know what traffic's going to be like. So the worse traffic is, or the worse traffic you're trying to get through, is actually going to be a negative on organic CTR. So you're better off trying to rank them where you're going to get a positive on organic CTR, even if it's further away but lower traffic. And so like some of these things are like when I work with people on their campaigns, I'll be drawing something and I'll be like, oh yeah, like it's actually going to be faster for them to get there from here than right across the street, across this giant interstate interchange that blocks up with traffic 4 times a day or twice a day, and it's going to be a half an hour each way. So, and it makes a big impact on how well the CTR works, because as soon as those organic users are actually clicking it and coming over there, that's the signal that you really want. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And just to back up what Eean is saying, let me share this with you guys, right? If you guys and I've shared it 2024. If you guys just do a CTR, Google click-through rate, CTR for 2024, guys, this is what like Eean's saying. At position number 10 in organic, they're getting 1.6% of those clicks, right? And ads, right? Like if you're in position 40, like Eean said, it's very uncommon you're going to get that. So nice and easy and slow, right? Google's telling us like what the percentage of it. And you can, even if you, here, I even show you guys, like Google is actually just giving us the answers here, right? Position 1 gets almost 40%, and then you can see the significant. What happens if you're 10 and 40, like Eean was saying? Guys, you got to make this supernatural because, like Eean said, CTR can hurt you or help you. Yeah. That's why the knowledge panel is so great of what Eean's talking about, right? And building that through different signals. Building that up so you're a real person, you're a real business, you're a real brand, you're a real product.
Yep, and that's why it's funny because the people who can get away with the most right now are honestly, it's like really like large agencies with good SOPs. A lot of these are squeaky clean. I have a ton of white hat agencies that buy my software, and they do really, really well with it. Why? Because they do a lot of groundwork laying. They charge an arm and a leg for SEO, but they get stuck just like everybody else. But because they laid that groundwork, the click-through rate stuff actually works. So, this is, it's a really, really good technique. If you can, practice how to like pull those levers. We're doing some experiments with press releases right now. We're doing some experiments with link building plus CTR right now. Yeah, I've got, I'm doing work with Elias with SEO Neo, and we're doing some experiments. What we're trying to see is like, what's the best way to combine signals, because they definitely work better combined. So hopefully I'll be coming out with some stuff about that in the next month or two. A number of different experiments there.
Awesome. Guys, put in your questions as we're coming here to an end. Make sure you get your questions in. I want to make sure we respect Eean's time, and you're picking up what he's putting down, guys, and he's not talking about theory, right? You guys, you heard him mention an agency. Eean is in the trenches. That's what makes him one of my favorite guys, right? And he's realistic, and he will guide you in the right direction. So get your questions in. Now, one of the questions I had, Eean, is essentially, what are those levers? What are you doing to get the knowledge panel favorable to you? What are you doing to build it up?
Yeah, so right now, the things that work really, really well. Honestly, schema is probably the most effective on Google Maps that it's been, and this is for like the last year. So schema is a very, very, very big signal if you do it right. So after schema, honestly, site content, having like knowledge-based trust, it's the same way that you rank a web page right now. You create a web page that serves a customer need, and then you link to all the information they need. So when they come to your website, they stay on the site. So you get a good click-through off of organic. Then you get good stickiness on that site to where they're not bouncing. Those things are really, really big. And then the knowledge-based trust factor is, Google basically looking at the other pages that are getting linked to and seeing if they are solving some of these problems. Andrew Ansley has some great content on how do you solve all of somebody's problems as soon as they come to a web page. So like having a focus about solving those things on the website actually does make a difference on Google Maps, because it enters into knowledge graph as knowledge-based trust, and it affects how Google sees your business. As far as the levers that are a little bit easier to or maybe less time consuming once you know them, would be Google Stacks are actually working really, really well for creating context for a business. And with Google Stacks, you could do things like do map embeds in your Google Stacks to where the links that you're building with your Google Stack are linking to a page or a document with a map embed. A lot of people are doing that, and it seems to be working pretty well. A variety of traffic is also important. I mean, if you can convince your customer to turn on driving directions every time they go to work, that actually helps. Other stuff like that is really, really useful. And then link building. Again, when you link build, you can link build directly to the Google Maps profile. You can link to reviews. You can link to embeds. You can link to a lot of different things. And those links actually do have an impact as well. And it's, you know, when you do link building, it's about the information, the content in those links, as well as, you know, I mean, like how many links are coming in. So, you know, there's tiered link building, with is what like SEO Neo does. And you can use that tool as well. And I know for sure that strategy is working. I've already done some experiments with it, with Elias, and as well as like our agency also does work with that. But the big things that we do to get it to rank fast are SEO Neo and Google G Stacks. And we do those plus traffic, and we're getting very good results.
Cool. So you guys got it here, right? Even if you try that stuff, you know, there's plenty of tools, there's plenty of services that can take care of that for you. Drive some traffic to it, right? Like Eean said, diversify your stacks and your stacks, right, as well. So with that being said, guys, I want to make sure, and well, Eean, if you can gather kind of your thoughts, anything that might be that we need to share, but I want to make sure I share this real quick. Let's see here. Make sure we follow Eean, follow him on his Facebook. You click here, Eean's, this is his Facebook, and then Agency Assassin as well. Give him a follow on there. You know, make sure we share some love with him. Guys, he's wealth of information. He's probably one of the most genuine and most giving guy I know, in every sense of the word, right? He would literally give you the shirt on the back of his, you know, the shirt off of his back to give to you, 100%. And I really mean that. With that being said, Eean, anything else you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, so if anybody wants to try the software, I'm gonna go ahead and put up a coupon code. I'll do coupon code Alfredo. And if people sign up before October 1st, 2024, that coupon code will be for a really, really good rate. That'll be the same as my conference rate, which would be 20% off. And then if they sign up after that, that coupon will be good for 10% off. So sign up agencyassassin.com, coupon code Alfredo, and you can go ahead and get 20% off up until October 1st.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I really do, guys. So guys, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for their support, guys. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, share, you know, those that are on the YouTube channel and the podcast, please share the love on there. I appreciate everyone that's on here supporting us live. And again, with that being said, much love, much success, and I'll catch you on the next one.